to No Brainer MMA.
What's up?
How you doing, Connor?
I'm all right.
You had a good night last night. You hit more than I did.
7 to 10, I think.
Yeah, that's 70% good.
Yeah, I'll take that any day.
Um, I didn't do so well. People fucked me. Um,
The Buys family.
the Bias family. One may argue the hype train is derailed.
It's off. It's off course.
It is derailed. They need to get better, both of them.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Um, Hey, you know who I'm not a fan of? I forget her name, even though we've talked about her like 6 different times.
Oh, Monstrat Conejo.
Neho. I wasn't a fan of that spitting. If she did spit, she said she didn't, but it looked like she spit on her.
You saw the video though, right? I sent it to you. It was
But
obvious.
on Twitter made up a good point. I think she called her puta,
What is that?
bitch in Spanish.
Oh, nice.
Um,
That's hilarious if that's the case.
like puta, it kind of looks like you're spitting,
Wow, who said that? Where'd you see that?
some guy on Twitter mentioned it.
Oh, dude, that's sick. That could be it. I gotta rewatch that. It looked like she was fucking spitting in her face.
It looked like it.
Yeah,
And if she was spitting, I'm never gonna be a fan of her again.
yeah.
And
Cool.
if you just beat somebody and you know you won, why are you calling them a bitch? Like
It was weird.
unless there was chirping going on, we
There
weren't
was.
there, so I can't really judge or assess them. There was just some bad blood in that fight. It seemed like some sore winning, sore losing type
Yeah.
shit. I can't say I'm gonna be a big fan of either. Then again, I have hated people in the past and became huge fans, so you never really know with some of these guys. Quick recap. Kevin Holland, love his personality and shit, but take that down. It's on level fucking 12 right now. Bring it down to like a 9.5 and bring up that urgency to 10.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be playing around like in a main event of a UFC fight.
Yeah.
Like,
And
he was just playing around.
he said this after he was like, I never said I was ever going to be champ. I just went out there and have fun. And that's like great and all, but like he kind of looked terrible against Derek Brunson, against the like guy who gets beat by the elite. And
Brunson has maybe turned a corner in his career at 38.
Oh.
Still changing his camp to Hard Knocks 365 / Sanford MMA. He's been looking fantastic.
Unreal.
With that blonde hair.
Oh my god.
Ever
Slim
since
Shady.
blonde. Oh, and by the way, Gatorade.
Yeah.
A sponsor would be dope. Guinness on Connor's side. Cool with either.
Listen, I'm down for either. That'd be sick. Maybe a mashup.
Yeah.
Both.
Like Gatorade Guinness mashup.
Mix them together. That sounds awful.
What else happened last night?
Let me see.
Just nasty knockouts all around.
Yeah, Max Griffin.
Oh my god, that guy
starched him.
Oh. I was scared. That guy was face down, ass up.
He was, dude. And you know what? That strike, the punch that he threw, was not hard.
He was, yeah.
It was not that hard of a punch. Max Griffin goes to decision for like 90% of his fights. He doesn't knock people out, man. Like,
who knows? Maybe he turned a corner too. That's something to keep an eye out. He looked great.
Song Kanan looked just sickly. He looked bad.
Yeah, there was something. I think something was up with him.
Something was up.
You mentioned that on Twitter. I agree. I think something was up with him.
Something was up. It was very.
Yeah. Who else had a nice knockout?
Yanez Gustavo Lopez.
Oh, Yanez. I was talking to Mr. B on Twitter. If you're watching, appreciate it.
Mr. B.
He brought up the fact Yanez versus Rob Font in a fight in the future. That would be great.
That's a great matchup right there.
That's a great matchup. He's got to climb first, but like, damn, he looked good.
Damn, that's I love that.
Yeah.
Tai Tuivasa, Harry Hunsucker. Poor guy. Poor Harry Hunsucker. Terrible name, terrible knockout.
Oh yeah. Well, that guy was coming in on like literally like no notice, like.
Did you see before the fight they were both listed as 6'2", and then they get in there and Tuivasa's got like 4 inches on him?
Like Cyril Gahn versus Jairzinho Rosenstrike, where obviously not being truthful in how tall they
No,
were.
clearly lying. And Harry Hunsucker, poor
Um,
guy, got knocked out in 49 seconds. You know.
yeah. Overall, though, like we had some great fights.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. I had a blast. Good fights. I thought it was going to be stupid amount of decisions, and I was so wrong. So wrong.
yeah, no,
So
we
many
so
knockouts.
many finishes.
I'm looking at it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 were all by KO.
Mhm,
6 KOs out of 10 fights. That's crazy.
yeah.
Awesome.
And
Love to see
before
that.
we, what were you saying?
No, I just said that's amazing, and I don't
Tough
even know
night
if
of
this.
bonuses.
What'd you say?
Tough night of bonuses for Uncle Dana.
Oh, I wonder who won. Did you see? They usually release it. I didn't.
I didn't check. I honestly, I was watching the post fight show because I knew
Oh, I'm
Khabib
looking at it right now. Actually,
or Kabi as
do you want to know it?
one of our Twitter followers says, and has maybe got me on board. I kind of like calling him Kabi.
I like that. The performance of the night bonuses were Max Griffin, Yanez, Dawson, and Bruno Silva.
Okay, they all deserved it.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah,
that was all the bonuses of the night. So
yeah. So yeah, we'll get. You ready to get right into it?
yeah,
UFC
for sure.
260?
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I just want to throw out a quick couple shout outs to a couple of people on Twitter who have been great to talk to. Juice Man, obviously, you've been great. Casey, you've been great. I believe it's Casey. Yeah, Casey. It's like Casey something. Kadarian Johnson. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. He's this 18-year-old wrestler thinking about making an MMA
Oh, cool.
career.
Oh,
Hey man,
that's
if you make it big,
awesome.
just know I've been with you. I've been with you since day one.
Remember Uncle Dan.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out, and I'm forgetting a bunch of names. Joe is one of them. Just a bunch of great people. We have I have great conversations with people on Twitter. It's not toxic. It's just it's an
Oh,
overall good
great. Yeah.
experience. And
Except for that one cocksucker from last week.
yeah, I thought he was calling us bums, but
He wasn't.
he was saying yeah. So that's why I got a little fucking like yo. If you call me a bum, I'm gonna come at you. Just know that
And I was like, dude, he didn't say anything too bad. And you're like, he called us bums. And I was like, oh, shit.
Turns out, anyway. Shout out to fucking all the people supporting. Shout out to all the people on Twitter that are engaging with me during the fights. I have a great like Saturday nights at home are like is what I'm looking forward to the most in my life.
Yeah,
and
dude, it's
it's
amazing. I have a blast.
And fucking I wouldn't have it any other way right now. So shout out to all you guys making it better. And we're gonna get right into the UFC pick'ems basically.
Yeah.
Our picks for UFC 260. And let's take a look.
Yeah, first one is Abu Azatar versus Marc-Andre Baralt.
Quick note, Abu Azatar is the older brother of UFC fighter Atman Azatar, who was cut but then brought back by Dana.
Because he's that good. Dana doesn't just bring people back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you
remember when he kicked out Paul Daly? Paul Daly was out.
And Paul Daly how good was Paul Daly, dude? He was a huge prospect, and he ended up having a great career.
Yeah, great career outside of the UFC.
Oh yeah, Bellator. He was like king of Bellator for a while. Yeah, but Abu Azatar has a 14-1 record. Has been on a 2-year, 8-month layoff. Hasn't lost in 10 fights. He's 9-0-1, but has only fought 3 times in 5 years. And he's coming off a 7-month suspension for PEDs. He's taken on Marc-Andre Baralt, 0-4 in the UFC. 0-4 in the UFC, but did win his last fight one-sidedly, but it got overturned because he popped for the juice too and was suspended for 9 months. So both guys are coming off PED suspensions. Although he hasn't won in the UFC, he does have an 11-4 record, all losses coming in the UFC. fought some pretty good competition, losing twice by decision to Andrew Sanchez and Christoph Jotko.
Yes, sir.
Azatar's lack of fighting is really concerning to me. Um, I think this is Brault's last chance to keep himself in the UFC. And he looked really good in his last fight, even though it was overturned because he was juicing. But both guys were juicing, so it's
Yeah.
it's an even playing field. But I am going with Brault in this one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is a fight I throw my stay away from is usually later on in the card, but this fight I'm very, very hesitant on. Like he's definitely more of a striker, but struggles when he definitely has struggles when a guy's trying to take him down. But he's like a pressure fighter. He always is in your face. But he kind of just like loops punches. He's not a guy that just throws straight. He's not very technical, you know. He's like more of a looper.
Yeah.
But his technique did improve in his UFC debut. I was watching some of his fights from outside of the UFC. He's pretty explosive. And he made a kickboxer in his last fight take the fight to the ground. He's basically like he's basically explosive everywhere. He's like explosive getting off the ground. Like he's just overall like an explosive guy. You can pretty much say that about both of the brothers. His he definitely has improved his grappling game, but I would say he's definitely more of a striker. And then Marc-Andre Barriault, I believe. Barriault.
I said Brault. I don't know if that's right though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a southpaw, so it's going to be an interesting like orthodox versus southpaw matchup. Both fighters have takedown defense problems.
Yeah.
But Marc-Andre could actually he's shown to take fighters down himself. He definitely has some decent striking, but can get frustrated with a fighter that has good defensive techniques. I don't know where Azaitar's defensive technical prowess is at. He kind of changes levels unpredictably and has some unorthodox striking as well.
He's got some hard hands. Great stand-up.
Yeah, he has. They're both like forward pressing fighters and like to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
This could be like a complete mixed martial arts fight because both of them have pretty shitty takedown defense, but could take somebody down themselves. So this could be I think this is going to be a close fight to start the card off.
I totally agree. This is a tough one. This is tough.
Yeah, I would give the explosiveness edge to Azaitar, but the technique edge to Marc-Andre.
I agree with that.
Tough fight to call, honestly. I'm gonna stay away from it, but fight could be fireworks. Azaitar's a little quicker too. I'm gonna go Azaitar, but I'm not confident in this fight, so like I would stay away from it personally.
This is a competitive fight. Both guys excel in the same spots, so it's like let's just see who's better. It's gonna be like stand and bang fight, and whoever's better at stand up's gonna win.
Yeah,
I mean, like Marc-Andre Brault though is really bad. Like if he fights a grappler, he's gonna lose. You know, he just has a huge hole in his game. Where I think Azatar has more like, you know, he's got a higher ceiling. I think, even though he's 35.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're gonna disagree on that one. I'm going Marc-Andre Brault, and you're going Abu Azatar.
But we both agree that it's going to be a close fight.
Very close fight.
Is the next one Jillian Robertson and Miranda Maverick for you?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll take it away. Miranda Maverick, 23 years old, coming off of a stoppage win over Liana Joshua. It was a stoppage due to a cut, though, and I watched the fight. I felt bad for Joshua. She was like, please, no, like, let me keep fighting. But she was getting beat up on the feet. Miranda Maverick definitely has the advantage when it comes to the feet. Jillian Robertson, we know all about Jillian Robertson. I'm a fan of Jillian Robertson. She has a great submission game. She's great overall on the ground. Her striking is improving. Her head coach is Dean Thomas. basically she has everything going for her, but like the UFC just keeps putting these really hard fights in front of her,
Yeah.
and I believe Miranda Maverick is another one of them. Yeah, Miranda Fear the Maverick,
Is that what
or
it is?
Miranda Fear the Maverick.
Yeah.
It's better than the savage Jillian Robertson, I'll say that. Yeah, Jillian Robertson, her striking is improving, but still not at a high level. And she's got a great submission game, but that could lead to problems going for submissions and putting her in compromising positions, as we saw in her last fight, where she kind of just went for like flying arm bars and just put herself on the back while I believe Tyler Santos just took top control the entire fight.
Killed it.
Like I said, Dean Thomas is like her head coach, so some of the best grappling in the division. Well, Miranda Maverick is a young up and comer. She telegraphs some of her strikes, but I'm expecting her to improve on that. She's well rounded. Like she's more well rounded than Jillian Robertson. She definitely has a much better striking game. Looked phenomenal on the feet in her last fight. Definitely like like floor ranked fighter, ceiling high elite level fighter. Miranda Maverick has the capability of being. Her skill set for being only 23 is phenomenal, and she has some unorthodox striking as well. She has like this nasty lead elbow that she throws sometimes. So in the fight overall, I'm gonna take Maverick. I think she's gonna either get a TKO stoppage on the feet or a decision. Yeah, they're both young, but Maverick is just more rounded, and is a safer bet. She has more keys to victory, as she can basically win the fight from anywhere, where Jillian Robertson's only way of winning this fight really is getting it down to the ground. So I'm going to take Miranda Maverick in this fight pretty decisively.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. That Joe Jua fight versus Maverick, she got the KO in the first round, landing 10 strikes a minute and only absorbing 6, a +4 differential.
They were swinging at each other.
Yeah,
That was a
dude.
good fight.
I think we were split on that one too. Um, she has fought 7 times since 2019, counting exhibition fights, going 6-1. Jillian Robertson 6-3 in the UFC, coming off a really one-sided loss versus Talia Santos, like you mentioned. She's a submission artist. She's a threat when she gets taken down, so it's tough when she actually it's a good matchup when she faces wrestlers. But her stand-up really isn't all there. It has improved drastically recently. It used to be really bad, but now
Yeah,
it's like
now it's okay. Now it's doable, but
yeah.
I don't believe it's at Miranda Maverick's level.
No, Maverick's like a Muay Thai monster. Like the volume that she puts out.
23. She's
Yeah.
only 23. That's what's so fucking scary about her.
I don't know her Muay Thai record, but she has some really amazing stand up. And the number, the volume is just like, it's Robertson might land like 30 significant strikes to like 50, but Maverick, we're talking like 100. It's just going to be like, and she can sprawl and brawl. I think she's going to hurt Jillian
I don't
Robertson
think
early.
Jillian Robertson's going to take her down either.
Oh, no, I don't.
I think Miranda Maverick's going to be able to keep it on the feet.
Yeah.
And it's going to be similar to the Macy Barber versus Jillian Robertson fight. She'll be fighting another young up and comer that has heavy hands. And
that's
I could just see
fight.
her. What?
Macy Barber versus Miranda Maverick.
That's the fight. That's the fight to make if Maverick gets past Jillian Robertson.
Yeah, I totally agree. Awesome. We're agreeing. We're agreeing, Maverick.
Back to agreeing.
Yeah, and this next one's a mouthful, but it's Modestas Bukauskas versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I practiced before this, so
I did too.
yeah, I made sure I pronounced that right. Both guys are coming off losses from Jimmy Crute, so understandable. Jimmy Crute's the man. Bukauskas losing by KO in the first round, and Oleksiejczuk losing by Kimura after being taken down 8 times in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Oleksiejczuk is on a 2-fight losing streak, granted from Crute and OSP, getting submitted in both fights, so we kind of see a hole in his game. He's got
Hmm.
pretty good stand up, plus 1.9 striking differential, 69% striking defense. Taking on Modestus Bukauskas. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. Only been to the decision once, and in his UFC debut back in 2015, and holds an 11-3 MMA record. Oleksiejczuk is prone to getting taken down, but Bukauskas likes to keep the fight standing. So, and I think if the fight does stay standing, Oleksiejczuk has the edge. He's a southpaw, 56% striking accuracy, 69% striking defense. Um, that being said, Bukauskas hits like a fucking Mack truck. So he doesn't need to land many to get the fight done, but I'm still gonna go Oleksiejczuk in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Mikhail Olejniczuk. Holy shit! I fucking always work on this shit and then fuck it up when we're recording. I don't even care. He has wins over Khalil Roundtree and Gian Vellante.
Yeah.
He's been submitted in his last 2 fights, and he struggles with takedown and submission defense. But I think this fight's gonna remain standing. He got manhandled by Crute. They both have losses to Jimmy Crute, like you said. Bukauskas got caught and got slept by him. And Olejniczuk just got manhandled by him. Olejniczuk hits hard and loves attacking the body. He actually was dominating the fight, his fight against OSP, rocking him multiple times and got a knockdown. He's got a solid chin because he was able to eat. Like he stood up and got the better of OSP. He's small for the division, but he's very quick and loves those body and liver shots. Bukauskas, on the other hand, he's got a 78-inch reach, which is very good. He was finished by Jimmy Crute in his last fight, like you said. He's light on his feet. He has a lot of movement, some lateral movement, but he's been knocked out multiple times in his career. So I'm kind of questioning his chin on this fight. He did take some pretty big shots in his UFC debut. And I believe in his UFC debut, he was able. Hang on, let me see this. In his UFC debut, he fought.
He fought Khalil Roundtree and got 2 takedowns and landed 76 significant strikes.
I'm talking about Bukauskas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he beat Andreas Michailidis.
Mm-hmm.
He looked good in that fight.
Yeah, heavy hands, man.
Yeah, he throws a lot of kick. He uses kicks well. He throws those low kicks, got some elbows. So he's got some like Muay Thai type striking.
Mm-hmm.
The stoppage in his UFC debut was a little controversial, but I'm gonna just say this fight's gonna be a stand-up fight, and I think that Olejniczuk gets a KO/TKO during an exchange. Both are a little undersized for the division, but Bukauskas' chin has some issues with a solid chance of getting knocked out. So I'd expect a lot of movement and a stand-up fight with Olejniczuk winning by finished first or second round.
Awesome. And actually, I feel like Oleksiejczuk might be an underdog in this. Hang on, let me check real quick.
I could check. I have it up.
Oh, do you? Oh, this one.
Favorite -150.
Oh yes, okay. I didn't expect him to be the favorite actually.
I love the -150 because I think
that's great. That's sick. I like that. I'm confident in that one. I like that. His stand-up's just better, you know? The hole in his game.
And I think Bukauskas' previous history of getting knocked out, like he's 11-3. He got slept by Jimmy Crute and got knocked out by John Redmond in 2016. So 2 of his 3 losses are by knockout. And I think he was KO'd pretty badly in both of them. So his chin is an issue.
Yeah, but we do agree Jimmy Crute is the man. That guy is.
He's fighting Anthony Smith at UFC 261.
Yeah, I think I got
him for a reason.
Yeah, Anthony Smith, I think, is over the hill. He's got way too much damage. I think Jimmy Crute's got that one.
Yeah, he's got like 60 fights. Like,
yeah, we'll get that to it. Well, when is that? That's a couple of weeks from now.
I think end of April.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're agreeing. We're going Oleksiejczuk. And Dan, you want to go for Jared Gooden versus Abubakar Nurmagomedov?
You want me to take it away?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So oh, I don't know what just happened. I accidentally closed all my tabs. Never mind. I got them back. All right. Jared Night Train Gooden. Um, he's coming off of a loss to Alan Jouban in his UFC debut. And Abubakar Nurmagomedov. I think he was one of the fighters that jumped over the fence in the whole
Was
UFC
he?
229 fiasco. Yeah.
That's funny.
His last fight was in uh, November of 2019, where he got submitted via triangle choke by David Zawada after landing a really clean takedown.
Right away.
He's another Dagestani product, so you can take a guess where I'm going to be going with this. But I'll start with Jared Gooden. He's a striker that swings for the fences on almost every striking attempt. I've seen him almost fall to his knees by trying to hit somebody so hard. Like,
you gotta love that.
Take their head off. Definitely has some huge power, but mostly just bull rushes and loops his strikes. So he's not the most technical fighter. And I think that he may, like, if fighting a grappler like Nurmagomedov in this fight, I think that he's gonna have a tendency to slow down or break after a round or two. Nurmagomedov, on the other hand, he's another Dagestani fighter that trains in Russia and also out of AKA. Islam Makhachev, Khabib Nurmagomedov, like, they're all similar in that way. They have the AKA and the Russia training. He hasn't fought since 2019, but I believe he's gotten better since then. Definitely more disciplined. And I don't think he has a threat of being submitted by Jared Gooden while Jared Gooden is on his back. So overall, I think the Dagestani native brings it home. It's probably going to be a grappling heavy fight. Wears Gooden out. You could see a possible sub later on in the fight. It's just all about how the Dagestani fighters just break the will mentally and physically of their opponents. I am confident in this fight, and I'm only giving Gooden an MMA's puncher's chance.
That's fair. That's I'm gonna totally agree with you. That when Jared Gordon made his Jared Gooden made his UFC debut against Alan Jouban, he looked like, yeah, he had the power, but he had a minus 4.53 strike differential. He was just absorbing so many shots. And Alan Jouban is not elite anymore. He's like 38 years old and is like on the down swing big time and kind of becoming a commentator. He's like he's taken on Abubakar Nurmagomedov, like you said, Dan, 0-1 in the UFC, losing by submission to David Zawada.
Mm-hmm.
He's also lost in 2018 via rear naked choke. He's a grappler, but is prone to getting submitted. So it's kind of like, I don't know. That's like the worst kind of grappler that you want.
Wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, a wrestler prone to getting submitted is not somebody to be like.
Yeah, I feel like the only time you're going to ever win is against a striker. So we're kind of lucky that we're getting Jared Gooden in this one. They kind of want to build him up a little bit, I think. But Nurmagomedov's striking is not great, but it's hard for other fighters to land strikes on him. He's pretty good at the striking defense. I think his grappling is just too dominant for Gooden's. I really don't think Gooden stands a chance in this one. 4 out of the 5 of Gooden's losses are decisions, so I think Nurmagomedov might just grind out, like, he gets a takedown, top control for 3 rounds, and just takes like a nice unanimous decision win.
Yeah, I see that or a sub, like, second, third round sub.
Yeah, his grappling is just too high level.
Yeah, I agree. Look at the guy look at the guys he trains with. Like, he trains with Islam. He trains with Khabib.
Yeah,
the weight class above them, which is cool because then they don't need to fight each other. Like, they won't have the possibility of fighting with each other. They just
think about that.
with each other. You know that Islam Makhachev, one of his main training partners, is Abubakar Nurmagomedov. So
yeah, he's for sure the real deal. Does have to work on that submission game, like I said. But besides that, his
Submission
strike,
defense.
he's crafty on the feet, man. I'm telling you, he's got some good footwork, and he I think he has potential. Just really has to work on that. Otherwise, it's just gonna be he'll never make it to like the top 15 or whatever because
Who Nurmagomedov?
yeah, like he needs to work on that.
I think he has been. He definitely like that. The discipline of these Dagestani fighters is just so high.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone out of Dagestan is just like a crazy grappler. You know, everyone that we see, it just has like crazy high level.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right, cool. So we're gonna agree on that one. We're going to Magomedov, and right into the next one, Jessica Payne versus Hannah Goldie. You want to take this one, Dan? Or you want me to?
I could take it if you want.
Yeah, take it.
All right. So Jessica Penne is 38 years old, coming off of 3 straight losses. 2 of them were by finish. Albeit it was to very high level competition. 2 of her last 3 losses are to Joanna and Jacek and Jessica Andrade. So that's nothing to hang your head about. And her last loss was in 2017. She hasn't fought since 2017. She got handed a 4-year USADA suspension for PEDs. And also before that, in 2014, she fought Randa Marcos to a split decision, which was a little iffy. I watched it back. It's a fight that kind of could have went either way. So all in all, she hasn't had a win since 2014, Jessica Penne. And now she's at the age of 38. That is very concerning. Hannah Goldie, on the other hand, looked great in her Contender Series fight, outlanding her opponent by almost outlanding her opponent by like 100 total strikes. Like, look, that's pretty great.
Oh my god!
She
Yeah.
lost to Miranda Granger in her next fight, but it was 30-27 across all judges' scorecards. But it was a closer fight than like a 30-27 would suggest. Like,
Yeah.
she definitely had her moments in the fight. She's on the right side of 30 and has all the right tools to beat Jessica Penne in this fight. I think this is another case of a veteran versus the hungry younger wolf, you know?
Yeah. Who was last week's? We saw that 43-year-old Marion Renault.
Yeah.
Macy Chasson. It was just.
Let me tell you this. Renault showed so much heart in that fight. I got so much respect for her.
Same. 43 years old. She's got to be one. She's if
She
not.
still got it. She still got it.
I don't know how.
Macy Chiasson is a fucking killer.
She is.
But anyway, before we veer off too far, so the fight itself, it's hard to gauge where both fighters are at because Goldie hasn't fought in about a year and a half, and Penne hasn't fought in 4 years.
Yeah.
But I can fairly confidently say Goldie takes this fight by decision. But like I said, it's hard to gauge where each of these fighters are at because we haven't seen them in one for a year and a half. That's pretty long.
Yeah.
You have 4 years on Penne's side, so I'm going to pick against Penne. Who knows? She could pull it off, but when you haven't had a win since 2014,
not a good look.
It's not a good look.
No. And I'm gonna totally agree with you, dude. Hasn't fought in 4 years on a 3-fight losing streak and 38 years old, and she's only fought 2 times in 5 years. Hannah Goldie 1-1 under the UFC umbrella, like you said, coming off her first career loss. In her UFC debut, which was a pretty boring unanimous decision. She was able to beat Jillian Robertson in her pro career MMA debut.
Impressive.
Yeah, right.
I mean, she's a little bit older than Jillian Robertson, so she had an amateur career before then.
Yeah, she did. She had a couple fights. Goldie is strictly a stand-up fighter, has some pretty good technical striking. Penne definitely has the advantage on the ground, but everything considered, I don't think this fight is in her favor whatsoever. And I'm gonna go with the younger fighter by a decade in Goldie.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
I'm confident in that one. I think. I think it's made for Goldie.
24K.
24K. Yeah, I do like that nickname too. Not bad.
Yeah,
I've seen worse. I've heard worse. All
I've
right,
heard
cool.
worse.
Yeah, we're gonna agree on this one, Hannah Goldie, and move right into the next one, Alonzo Menafield versus William Knight. Dan, I've been waiting. Remember, I got so hyped for the last time I gave this prediction, but it got postponed, whatever, a month because of COVID. But finally, we're getting to see William Knight. He's never been beaten at 205, with his only losses coming from Tafan and Chukwi, who we saw make his debut not too long ago. His
Yeah,
striking
Dana
is what.
White compared to Mike Tyson.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So he beat modern day Mike Tyson, according to Dana White. Oh no, I mean he lost to modern day Mike Tyson. Excuse me. Um, his striking is elite, averages 4, absorbs less than 3 strikes per minute at 76% accuracy. Also averages more than 1 takedown per round at 66% accuracy and 60% takedown defense. Alonzo Metafield is riding a 2-fight losing streak, just getting outclassed in both performances. He's consistently looked bad after the first round, and William Knight is coming off a unanimous decision where he showed he can go all 3 rounds easy. I'm taking William Knight all day here. I've been waiting to say this. I've been waiting to give this pick for so long now. But William Knight is going to beat Alonzo Metafield, and I just can't wait to see it this Saturday.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: both fighters are both have ridiculous power. I think we could both agree there.
For sure.
Okay, so Alonzo Menafield, he's got the durability issues as the fight moves on. He slows down a lot. He's coming off of 2 straight losses. He he may he when you're coming off of 2 straight losses, you can feel cornered, and cornered fighter slash animal. Like, I use the dangerous animal speech all the time. A cornered animal is a dangerous animal. So
Totally agree.
Menfield's gonna really come out and try to finish him. He tends to headhunt due to his massive power, and that leads to openings for his opponents. For example, the OSP fight.
Right.
He's definitely raw in the sport. He's not like a complete mixed martial artist yet. But he does have the ultimate equalizer when it comes to his power, like a Deontay Wilder in boxing, for example. He can be knocked out, as shown in the OSP fight, and needs to exchange kind of more actively, rather than staying flat and bull rushing at times. With William Knight, you said he lost his only losses to Tafon and Chukwi, who's fucking a stud. William Knight is so stocky. He kind of reminds me of like Yoel Romero in that way. Like, he's just so stocky. I'm like, how is this like this guy is just fucking a tank. Like, the definition of a tank. The risky part of this is during striking exchanges, he has a tendency to leave his chin out there to be hit. So that is a huge risk, because if you leave your chin out there for Alonzo Menafield, he's putting you to sleep. But he also has ridiculous power. Both fighters like the clinch. William Knight's better with the takedowns and obviously can unleash some killer ground and pound. He actually has a submission game as well. With his fight against Kamer, if you remember that, he had that nasty Kimura from Mount. Yeah. He takes people down with his own back against the fence. Like, that's just power. Like, he trips people and takes them down.
Yeah.
And like, he can just find his way out of bad situations just by how using his strength and power. And he's got obviously technique as well. This fight could be a knockout by either fighter, but I'm not necessarily seeing fireworks in this fight. I could see it being kind of like a Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis fight, where both fighters are kind of scared of being knocked out. And I think it's going to be very clinch heavy. And when it goes to clinch, I give the advantage to Knight all day. He has the advantages in takedowns, cardio, and submissions. Either man could get caught and put away, but Knight has more ways to win the fight. So I think he's a safer bet, but it's still an iffy fight due to both fighters just have the ultimate equalizer in their power.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm going to agree with you and I'm going to take William Knight.
Yeah, I really do hope that it is fireworks, though. Like, I've been waiting for this for so long. Like, it's got postponed. And if it's not fireworks, I'm gonna be so disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, so am I.
Yeah, it's like this fight was meant for fireworks, just like that. Whatever, Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero, like, or everyone versus Yoel Romero. It's supposed to be fireworks, and it never is.
Well, it was fire. Like his Whitaker fights were kind of fireworks, like for Yoel, I'm talking about.
Yeah, for Yoel, yeah. But everyone was so scared of Yoel's power, and if you just like move around, he can't really hit you. You know what I mean? He's got a problem with that. Um, all right, cool. So we're gonna agree on that one. Actually, we're both going William Knight. Move right into the next one: Jamie Malarkey versus Kama Worthy. Jamie Malarkey, 0-2 in the UFC, grappler, but averages 4 takedowns a fight, but is pretty bad on the feet. He's got a negative 2.73 strike differential. Taking on Kama Worthy, 2-1 in the UFC, with his win over Devontae Smith and Violent Bob Ross. He's coming off his first UFC loss to Adam Azatar, who we saw is just a complete killer, and his brother is on this card actually, which is nothing to hang your head about. The guy's filthy. He's got really heavy hands. Winning mostly. I'm talking about
Kama Worthy.
Kama Worthy, of course. Yeah, he's got really heavy hands. Winning and losing mostly by KO. He does only have 57% takedown defense, and Bob Ross was able to take him down 3 times in that fight. And Malarkey is better than Bob Ross at grappling for sure. So I don't know. It gets kind of like cloudy here. When just looking at this fight, I would be like, "Oh, Kama Worthy's got this," but I think it is a lot closer than it might seem. But Malarkey's striking is really bad, and if he leaves
I
himself,
mean, if you think about it, though, he fought Brad Riddell, who was supposed to fight this last weekend, who's a fucking who was a pro kickboxer. So like,
right.
you can't like that. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's great competition. But he leaves himself open, and if he leaves himself open like he did in his other fights, I think Kama Worthy's gonna really knock him out, honestly. But like you said earlier, a cornered dog is what is it again?
A cornered animal is a dangerous animal.
A cornered animal is a dangerous animal, and Malarkey is a decent underdog here if he gets those takedowns early. But I am going to go with Kama Worthy.
Yeah, I'm going to overall agree with you. Malarkey had a war in which he lost, but showed some definitely heart. If you saw his ear after the Riddell fight, it looked like it was about to fucking blow. But he desperately needs to win in this one. Malarkey does have a great chin, super tough, well-rounded, take the fight to the ground, and can stand up and trade. Like he's a complete mixed martial artist, as is Kama Worthy. The only thing with Kama Worthy is 6 out of his 7 losses are due to knockouts. So his chin, I kind of feel like, is his biggest weakness.
For sure.
He has wins over Luis Pena where he submitted him, and Devontae Smith. And in the Devontae Smith fight, Smith was a minus 1,000 favorite over Kama Worthy, and Kama Worthy pulled off a fucking huge W in that one. Like, imagine putting money on that one. That fucking knocked Devontae Smith out. Did not see that one coming. His last fight was against the surging prospect Atman Isatar. We both hit on that point. Worthy's got really quick hands and a complete striking game, lateral movement and head movement. But he could also be flat-footed at times too. So he has a tendency to like be good with his movement, but then like kind of stay flat on his feet, which could be worrisome if he does get caught by Malarkey because he has been knocked out 6 times. He's well-rounded with a good ground game and can capitalize on transitions. Good sub defense as well because Luis Pena had his back for like 3 minutes and in the second round of their fight and wasn't able to pull off anything. He was able to fight the hands and do everything he needed to do and escape the round. And then he has the submission offense as well because he later on submitted Luis Pena. He's all around a great fighter with this chin being his only real weakness. But
yeah,
But he fights to his strengths and avoids standing and trading with other fighters. He just, picks his shots, throws some combos, when needed. I'm a Kama Worthy fan.
Same.
So overall, despite like Malarkey's toughness, I don't think he pulls this off 8 times out. I think Worthy wins this fight 8 times out of 10. When it comes to striking, Kama Worthy has the advantage in speed and power. Despite Worthy's chin being a factor to be hesitant on betting on him, his takedown defense and submission attacks and submission defense also plays a pretty big factor. Worthy I would say Worthy definitely gets better of Jamie Malarkey on the feet, which will frustrate him, leading him to reckless takedowns. I can see a reckless takedown leading to like a guillotine that he got Pena in. So like most of the fights I choose, Worthy has more ways to win and can take it by submission, decision. Probably not a knockout because Malarkey's chin is pretty fucking righteous. But yeah, I'm gonna take Kama Worthy in this one.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. Kama Worthy's so good. He's got all that raw power. But I don't think he'll ever be elite just because of his chin, man.
He gets caught. Like if
Caught a
you match him
lot.
clean, he gets put out. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's only 155. It's not
Mhm.
like really too.
It's
It's
not
not
like
we're
it's
talking
not
heavyweights.
it's a heavyweight. It's
Yeah.
not like Tai Tuivasa's hitting you with those
No,
right.
no, it's nowhere near that. But it, what are you gonna do?
Did I mention something about Gatorade sponsoring us at some
Yeah.
point? That'd be cool.
Actually, you know what? Here we go.
Oh, word!
Yeah.
Red Gatorade gang.
All right, cool. We're sponsored by Gatorade, and we're both going Kama Worthy. Sponsored by Gatorade. And moving right into the next one, Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. Take it away, Dan.
All right, so Sean O'Malley obviously suffered that huge setback in his last fight. I was talking to somebody on YouTube about it. And they said like, oh, we ended up being cool, but like one of the things they were said is he got outstruck by Cheeto Vera. I was like, he only really got outstruck after his ankle got rolled 6 times, and those elbows, he landed like 6 of those elbows, so that counts towards that all of that. So Sean O'Malley has great fun. Like his stand up is just fun to watch. Whether you're on the hype train or not, you cannot deny that Sean O'Malley has some great stand up. He said, and he's obviously working on his ground game. He's vocal about it. On the other hand, we got Thomas Almeida. And Thomas Almeida, at one point in his career, was 20-0.
Damn.
20-0.
Not bad.
And then he has lost now 4 of his last 5. And 2 of those are by knockout, by Rob Font and Cody Garbrandt. So since 2016, Almeida is 1-4. Not very confident in that. So breaking it down, Almeida has a black belt in Muay Thai and a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and fights out of one of the best gyms in Brazil in Shootbox Diego Lima. He was a phenomenal prospect, like I said a couple years ago. He was actually 21-0 before losing a bunch, like 3 or 4 fights. But Almeida has made a name for himself in the UFC, but the lack of activity is something that is concerning to me. He was knocked out by Rob Font 2018, lost the decision to Jonathan Martinez in his last outing, and I think he's going to be in for a rough night on March 27th because Sean O'Malley's coming out and he's pissed. He wants a highlight reel KO. Sean O'Malley has that thing about him where he like doesn't consider the Chito Vera loss to be a real loss. He
I
still
know.
says he's undefeated, which a lot of the MMA community kind of hates on him for. But I just look at it as his competitive spirit. He doesn't think that Cheeto beat him by skill. He think that he took advantage of an injury. Like he got injured in that fight, and Cheeto took advantage of it. So obviously Cheeto won the fight, but in Sean O'Malley's head, he doesn't believe he lost the fight, which is something like you kind of want in a fighter, in an athlete. Like it was, he got kicked in the knee. It hit the peroneal nerve. His foot was numb. It usually comes back in 30, 60 seconds, but he rolled it a bunch of times, so he couldn't really put any weight on it. But back to O'Malley's stand up, he was getting Cheeto, who is a pretty good, if not great, bantamweight, to bite on a lot of his feints. He throws a lot of feints and sets a lot of traps in the stand up. He's very tall and lanky, and you wouldn't expect somebody that tall and lanky to have that one punch knockout power he does. But we haven't seen much of the ground game. Something I kind of want to see maybe in this fight, but we'll see what happens. But for the fight, short and simple, like Sean O'Malley bounces back into the win column with a dominant decision or a knockout of Almeida. Almeida's been knocked out from a head kick, so it could happen. It could very well happen again. Sean wants a highlight reel KO in this fight, and I can see a highlight reel KO coming in this fight. The UFC set Sean O'Malley to bounce back in this fight.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree. Sean O'Malley, I think we're going to see the best Sean O'Malley that we've ever seen this weekend because he was already super motivated before his loss, and the fact that he lost this early on in his career, I mean, he's a young guy, but he's got a lot of fights under his belt. I think we're really going to see, like, he wants to make up for that loss. You know, he really wants to prove people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a plus 3.76 strike differential, 64% striking defense, 57% striking accuracy. Also, like, he's got a decent grappling game. He averages a takedown and a submission attempt per fight. He's taken on Thomas Almeida, 5-4 in the UFC, riding a 3-fight losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
But the competition level is crazy. Jonathan Martinez, Rob Font, Jimmy Rivera, and also lost to Cody Garbrandt. But he really struggles with elite fighters at 145 and
135.
135, and he's actually going down to 135. He was fighting a couple of fights at 145 recently. Now he's going back down, which I don't think that's going to help him at all.
He's already been knocked out by Rob Font and Cody Garbrandt at 135. I just see him getting knocked out again at 135.
Yeah, the fact that like you move, like fluctuate weights like that is already like making me hesitant to pick you. So because you're not sure which weight is good for you, you're indecisive about that. Yeah, Almeida's no slouch, but O'Malley's got this for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's good. We're both going Sean O'Malley coming back from his. Is that his first career loss? It was, right?
The first career loss. That's why he still considers himself undefeated.
Yeah. Crazy man, but we're both going with him. And the next one, moving right in, Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque. Tyron Woodley on a 3-fight losing streak has lost his last 14 rounds straight. He's coming off losses from Colby, Burns, and Usman, all guys with great grappling skills and ground games. It seems that his wrestling skills aren't really that elite anymore, and he's struggling with these new up and coming wrestlers, and they're really like crazy more dominant than he ever was. Yeah, for sure. He's taken on Vicente Luque, riding a 2-fight winning streak over Nico Price and Randy Brown. I mean, Randy Brown, I think is pretty low competition, but Nico Price I like striking wise. It's not anywhere near the competition of Woodley, like whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Luque is a striker, although has only plus 0.1 striking differential. So
But he's fought high level guys such as Stephen Thompson and stuff like that. That can skew the numbers.
Oh, for sure. Striking differential and 64% takedown defense. So he, not the best. We're not talking elite takedown defense. And yeah, he's fought great competition. not so much recently, not as much at least as Woodley. I
Hmm.
think this is a good fight for Woodley to bounce back and get back on track. He's not facing an elite striker like he has the last 3 fights, which seems to be his weakness nowadays. And I think he might be able to get back in the win column versus Vicente Luque this weekend.
So you're taking Tyron Woodley.
I'm taking Tyron Woodley.
Wow. All right. I'm gonna first off say I'm gonna disagree with this pick. Tyron Woodley, it pains me to say because he's been one of my favorite fighters, but he's lost the last 14 rounds of his fights.
Yep.
He just seems to just not pull the trigger. He's like a shell of his old self in a way, and he's just been really tentative. And he's on a 3-fight losing streak, and it's not like they were close fight. He was dominated by Usman Burns and Colby Covington. He's going to be 39 years old in a couple weeks, I believe. So my question is this the end of Tyron Woodley? Like, I think he it might be time to hang him up. And Luque might be the guy to do it. Luque, we'll get into Luque for a second. After losing his bout to Wonder Boy, where he kind of got a little bit outclassed in the stand-up, he amassed 2 straight wins since and proven to be a top 10 welterweight with finishes over Nico Price and Randy Brown. That's kind of really showed where his stock is. He is a top 10 welterweight. Like you said, the question is like where those guys aren't on Tyron Woodley's level though.
Right.
So still he is a top 10 welterweight, and that's really hard to come by because the division is deep.
Stagnant.
Like if you go look at flyweights, if you're a ranked flyweight, that doesn't mean really much of anything. There's like 23 flyweights on the roster.
If that.
Yeah, there's like maybe 24, 25 at most. Yeah. Like
nothing.
All like a ranking means like if you're ranked 15 at flyweight, it means that you're not even in the top half. Luque being a top 10 welterweight, it definitely means he is one of the top guys. So in the fight, it pains me to say it, but I believe Tyron Woodley is over the hill, and either the competition has caught up on him or he's just not like caught up onto him and seeing his tendencies through tape and tape studying and whatnot, or he's just not at the championship level he once was. The sport is constantly evolving, and I think the doors are kind of shutting on Woodley. For Luque, despite losing his UFC debut, the only losses that Luque has even suffered in the UFC are to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Leon Edwards. Like those are 2 of the best. Luque takes the fight, in my opinion, by utilizing more volume and has the possibility of finishing the fight, which also pains me to say, but I think Tyron Woodley's done.
Oh,
we're gonna disagree on that.
Yeah, we're gonna disagree on that. I think this is a good match. If Tyron Woodley really is still like he's still got some skills, his heart's still in it. Like this is a good matchup for him because it's a striker versus grappler. It's a classic battle. And Woodley
stands up for most of his fights. I haven't really seen him shoot in like at all.
I know, but his last 3 fights are against I think he was scared of those guys' wrestling and grappling abilities, man. I really do. I really think he was. And I think it's a nice change of pace to for him to face a guy that really prefers to stand on the feet and gets it done with his striking.
Yeah. But if Woodley just stands himself and backs himself into the corner like he has been the whole time, he's going to lose.
Yeah, he's going to lose for sure. He's going to lose one-sidedly.
And and Luque's a minus 200, minus 220 favorite for a reason. I think people have caught on to Tyron, and it's sad to say.
Yeah, this is now our co-main.
Yeah, Tyron Woodley's retirement and our co-main.
That might be a sad night. That might be if that's the case. But I hope that
the next fight might be sadder for somebody else.
Oh yeah, for me in particular. Yeah, but we're gonna disagree on that one. I'm going Tyron Woodley. Dan's going Vicente Luque. And right into the next one, our main event: Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou.
Yes, sir. This is a fight to be the baddest man on the planet.
Get
Um,
ready.
yeah, so Francis Ngannou will start off with the challenger. After losing decisively to Stipe in their first meeting, you got to remember that Ngannou was very, very green, like raw and green in that fight, and has strived to make improvements since. And I think he has. While he still might not be the most technically sound fighter out there, his power is second to none in the entire UFC. They were showing that cutscene where like they were saying how hard Ngannou hits. It's like getting hit by like a certain car going like as fast as it possibly can. That is how hard Ngannou hits. Since his back-to-back losses to Stipe and Derek Lewis, Ngannou has been on a devastating tear, knocking out all four of his opponents since then, and in brutal fashion. Um, these fighters include Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, Curtis Blades for the second time, and the most recently and the most brutal one of the four is Jairzinho Rosenstrike. That was just absolutely, that was like Mortal Kombat brutality. Um, what he lacks in technical ability, which he's growing in, and he's still new to the sport, he makes up for in power like tenfold. Stipe, on the other hand, is the most accomplished heavyweight fighter of all time, the heavyweight GOAT, and has no competition. He has no competition in that regard. Like no one could say that anybody other than Stipe is the best heavyweight champion in UFC history at this point. Unlike Ngannou, his technique and mid-fight adjustments always seem for him to find a way to win. He's like he's just that dog that finds a way to win every single time. His first fight with Ngannou was ridiculous. He was bobbing and weaving the nuclear bombs that fucking Francis was throwing at him, and just going back to his wrestling roots, taking the fight to the ground and hitting him from there. He was able to wear the Predator out, which I think was one of the most was one of his most impressive victories. The DC trilogy was also amazing with him. But for this fight, he would need to find a way to win yet again, because Ngannou is coming back hungrier, more skilled, and ready to take his head off. It's a tough fight to call, but plain and simple, I don't think Stipe can go 10 rounds with Ngannou's power and not get clipped. So I think we're going to see a new heavyweight champion at the end of the night, come March 27th. Ngannou clips him in the first or second round and turns the lights off. Stipe has been hit hard before, and he has been knocked out before.
Yes.
Overeem clipped him, almost knocked him out. He got stopped by Stefan Struve, I believe.
A while ago.
Stopped by, and he got knocked out by DC. Yeah. None of these guys can hold Stipe's jockstrap when it comes to power. So I got the Predator, Francis Ngannou. Go bring that belt home.
Yeah. I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. Like you said, Stipe Miocic, arguably the best and most decorated fighter in UFC heavyweight history.
He is. It's not even a question.
Yeah. Coming off back-to-back wins against Daniel Cormier, has a plus 1.15 striking differential, averages almost 2 takedowns a fight, and 70% takedown defense. He might not talk the best, but he's got one of the best fight IQs.
He's a mumbler.
He's a mumbler. And I'm a mumbler too, so I kind of get it. Not as bad as you think. I've been hit in the head far less times. But like I was saying, he's got one of the best fight IQs in the game. It really is crazy. I don't say that about many people.
Mid-fight adjustments are great. I love it. Like,
he's a gamer.
He's a gamer.
He's a gamer for sure. He knows how to get it done. But he's taken on Francis Ngannou. He's on a 4-fight winning streak, all by round 1 KOs. Doesn't have the best striking accuracy, only 37%, but that doesn't matter when you hit like a Mack truck. He was taking.
He actually, I think, hits like a Mack truck, going 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, he could. He's a human Mack truck. He was taken down 6 times in his first fight with Stipe, which really helped Stipe secure that win. Ngannou has gotten a lot better, but um, it's tough to see where he's at against Steve. I don't know. I just
Because he's knocking guys out so quickly and so devastatingly, you
right.
don't know where the rest of his game's at.
Like, how much cage time does he even have? You know what I mean? Like, we don't see
He's
his game.
gotten like 7 minutes of cage time in those on his 4-fight winning streak.
Yeah, it's
If
unreal.
that, if that. Like, I think he knocked out Cain Velasquez, and he knocked out Junior in like 107 or something like that, I believe. He knocked out Jorginho in
That's
20,
crazy.
22 seconds, something like that.
Unreal.
He knocked out Cain in like 50 seconds or 40 seconds.
Mm,
He's just got ridiculous power, and I just don't think Stipe can go 10 rounds
right.
with Ngannou and not get clipped with one of those powerful hands.
Right. In the first fight, Francis would throw that overhand right, and like Stipe would do this really cool move where he would throw a jab right away, and like when he threw the jab, it kind of blocked like the overhand right.
Yeah,
That
the shoulder,
yeah,
blocks the right from hitting.
yeah. And he would every time he would throw a
Yeah.
jab. If he was throwing an overhand right, he'd throw a jab, and it was almost like a cheat code. Like he found a cheat code with Francis. And when I saw that, I was like,
Francis will make adjustments from that.
yeah, but also, like we said, Stipe is a gamer. He'll make adjustments too. This fight is elite. This fight is
But
craziness.
one slip up,
One slip up, yeah.
from Stipe, the fight is over. Let's say, for example, Ngannou feints the overhand and comes up with the left uppercut. The fight's over.
Right.
The fight's over.
He can't make a mistake. But like I said, he's one of the smartest fighters in the game, and I do believe he's the GOAT at heavyweight. And I think he'll be able to beat Ngannou twice. And if that's the case, Stipe is confirmed. He might be confirmed GOAT. You know what I mean? Like of all heavyweight. Like if he can beat DC 2 out of 3, and if he can beat Ngannou 2 out of 2, and also face all the competition that he has in his career, only 3 career losses, I think that he has an argument to be GOAT of just the UFC history.
John Jones. Khabib.
Now, there's a lot less cheating. A lot less cheating with John Jones, and a lot more competition than Khabib. You know, he's up there, man. I'm telling you, there's an argument for him being the best if he wins this one.
But he's gotten knocked out multiple times.
He's got knocked out. What? He's got 3 losses. He got knocked out how many times?
Twice? I know twice.
Yeah, twice. All right, 2 times since 2011.
If he gets knocked out by Francis Ngannou, that he's out of that conversation.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got to win this one for sure. That's what I said. He's got.
He puts on a flawless performance.
Yes,
maybe I can get on board with you, but like,
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying for sure. He's got to win this.
Ballpark.
He's got to win this one to be the GOAT.
But for heavyweights, it's tough because like it's just he broke the UFC record with title defenses at 3.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough division. Heavy hands, man.
Over 30 years, it's been like 30 years since the UFC started. There has never been a UFC heavyweight champion that maintained the championship for more than 3 fights.
Crazy.
That's how quickly these titles change hands in that division. So history always seems to repeat itself, and France, like it's like a ticking time bomb. Like
so I win then,
like,
right?
What?
If history repeats itself, Stipe will win.
Yeah, but Stipe is off doing, like, not saying he's not training, but he's also got a full-time job as a firefighter.
I think that helps his training.
Francis Ngannou is fully trained on taking Stipe's head off. At all moments, he's clicking. He's getting better. He's making technical adjustments.
I know, but Stipe has so much more experience than him. It's crazy.
It is. Like, Francis is raw, but he's so fucking scary.
Yeah, he's scary. Yeah, for sure.
And would you rather see Ngannou versus Jones, or would you rather see Stipe versus Jones?
I want to see the GOAT versus Jones. I want to see Stipe versus Jones, of course.
See, I would rather see Ngannou versus Jones because that's just so intriguing.
Oh, I feel bad for John Jones in that one. I'll tell you right now. I don't even think he's going to do that good at heavyweight. So
really,
yeah, I don't think it's tough to transition to heavyweight. You're going from everyone weighing 205. He's going everyone from weighing 205 to like people. You're fighting guys that are 265 now, and like it's different. We saw Stylebender not be able to do it, and
But
Stylebender striking is crazy.
who John Jones basically sunned. Let's be real here.
What?
John Jones basically sunned DC. Like, he is a child.
Oh, is that what that means? Yeah, he beat him. He beat him up pretty good all the fights.
Both times.
But
And
that's not at heavyweight.
yeah, and then DC goes up to heavyweight and becomes heavyweight champ.
Yeah, but DC was meant. He was a heavyweight. Like that was his.
He was fighting in the wrong division because
Yeah.
back when he made his UFC debut, him and Kane were like best friends.
And he didn't want to fight there.
He didn't want to fight at heavyweight because
Yeah.
he's like, I don't want to fight Kane, so I'll just fight at light heavyweight. And then that created some of the greatest animosity between two fighters we've ever seen.
And now DC is like, I feel like they're kind of cool, their relationship now.
No, they're not. They went at each other like a week or two
Oh,
ago.
really? I thought they were doing good. Just when I think they're doing good. I think John Jones still jabs at him, but DC is always like cordial when I see him on the commentating shit, and I don't know.
They got on a Twitter war I saw recently.
I hate to see that. I want to see them become friends.
I think John Jones was like, "You want to bury the hatchet, DC? Friends?" ? And I don't think DC responded.
Was he like poking at him though? Like, did he just like one of those things?
I think DC said something about John Jones not being able to have knockout power at heavyweight.
Oh,
and then John Jones like sent a clip of him head kicking DC and knocking him out, and he's like, "A kick is different," or something like that. I don't know. That's just Twitter, like that's
just trash talk.
That's just them trash talking each other.
Yeah.
But
all right, cool.
Well, at the end of the day,
we're disagreeing
on it, but both of us can see each other's points on why the other one can win.
For
and
sure.
This fight is as 50-50 as 50-50 can get when it comes.
This fight is. I have so much hype for this fight. It could end in 10 seconds. But like the hype for this card in general, I feel like
But not having the Volk and fucking Ortega fight sucks, bro.
We were split on that one too. We would have been split on 3 out of the 3 main events on this card.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna take T City. I think T City 2.0 is fucking. It's gonna take it home. But then Daddy Max Holloway is gonna come back and. Take it right back from him.
I hope so. Max Holloway needs to get this title back. He beat Volk in that last fight. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anyone says. He fucking
he won. He
won.
I think most of the fan base agrees.
Yeah.
It was close. He won.
It was close, but yeah, like I can't say it was like, you know what? I'd say that, but like that was a fucking robbery. Because when it's for a belt like that, that was a robbery, man. Because a lot of people think that he won.
Yeah. For those of you that are still watching, we have 2 ideas of videos coming out soon. So leave your ideas in the comments for this. Do you want to see us do a prospect video first, or do you want? We'll get both videos out first of all. But do you want to see us do a prospect video first, or do you want to see us do a video on weight divisions and the whole judging system, weight divisions judging system video? Because I want to make a video on both of those subjects, or 3 subjects. You can combine it, but we're going to combine the reffing and the divisions into one video, I think, in the future.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So leave it in the comments which one you want to see first, and whichever one you guys want to see first, we'll pump it out
for sure. Sounds good, dude. Great card coming up. Nice pay-per-view. UFC 260?
Yes, sir.
UFC 260. It's going to be a good one, couple of bumps in the road, a couple of fights canceled, but what else is new? We're used to that in COVID times. And like we said, if we won any bets for you, throw us a like, throw us a subscription,
likes and subs really do help us. We're on the road to 100.
Yeah,
and we're just planning on snowballing from there. We've been doing this a couple months. We really do try to give you guys the best content we can we can make. So if you have some constructive criticism, don't hesitate to say it. Just don't be a dick about it. I'll come at you. I'll come at you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. After
but,
last week's fiasco.
but yeah, yeah. Any likes, subs, and especially comments. I want to hear
I
I
want some
want
subscribers.
comments. I just even if you don't like them, you don't like. You're not a type of guy that likes and subscribes to people. I'm kind of like that too when it comes to YouTube. I'm
Yeah.
subscribed to like 10 channels. That's all. So like I get it. I get like why like people don't want to people don't want to subscribe, but like throw a comment in there if not, like
Yeah.
just comment, say, hey, I like this and I don't like this, like change this up, like we're willing to adapt, and this is not it's just as much for us as it is for the people watching. So, and again, another shout out to all the people on Twitter I've been having great conversations with.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. And yeah, love talking MMA with them.
Yeah, man, it's really blowing up.
Yeah, there's a couple that I talked to literally throughout the entire card, and it's great. So
Yeah. The
let's keep
comment, I
it
see
up.
the comments on all the stuff. I see the likes and the retweets on like all the posts. It's great to see. I remember when there was like nothing, you know what I mean? And now it's like
Yeah, back
everyone
in
is like,
January, we weren't getting shit.
yeah.
Like,
And now it's like it's so active on fight nights, and it's great to see. It's a lot of fun.
yeah. So appreciate, much love to you guys. And yeah, like, sub,
For sure.
whatever you want to do. Dislike it if you didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't care. You watched it.
yeah, if you spend the time on watching it, I'm gonna timestamp it once it comes out, and yeah,
Facts.
that wraps it up. But
Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
appreciate anybody giving love on here or Twitter. Would love to combine the two. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. No brainer MMA signing off.
No brainer.